I'm a person of science as well, so sometimes there's questions.
What happens when we die? What's happened?
Something's gotta happen.
So the soul does not die.
I don't believe it dies. I mean, I have had some real life experiences that are very intense and that I can't explain to myself. I don't know how, but my spirit left my body. I'm Roxana, and I am from Mexico, proudly. And I was born and raised in Mexico, in La Huasteca Potosina, which is one of the most beautiful places with ecosystems that are protected. And I currently reside in Rancho Cucamonga in Southern California. I have seen the best of both worlds. I have traveled amply through the United States and seen the most amazing canyons, and I know every single state in Mexico.
So now you're here. What happened? Why do you do this thing with the Camino?
Well, last year, a few months ago, I was here. I also visit Europe frequently. So last year, I came to tour on my own through Spain, France. I went up to Rome and then drove all the way up to Scania, stopping at every major place and off the beaten path places. And I crossed into Switzerland, went into Austria, and hiked the Dolomites in the Austro-Italian Alps, and then back through Italy, back to Rome, and back home. Now this year, I had decided to do the Camino because my Camino was canceled in 2020 because of COVID. So I had everything ready, paid, and it's been one of the things in my bucket list to do this Camino. And I eventually want to do the Camino Portuguese, and I would like to do the Camino Primitivo as well.
But are you spiritually inclined? Is that something that you also support doing the Camino?
Well, I was born and raised Catholic. My father was Basque from Spain, and my mom's side, and my dad's mother was Italian from Tuscania area, and we were raised very Catholic. I am currently Catholic, but I'm not, a fanatic. I have my beliefs. I'm a person of science as well, so sometimes there's questions, but I am a believer. I believe there's a supreme being, and there's a respect that I pay to the different churches where I go, and I do have a personal reason why I'm doing this as well.
Can you share that reason, or is it something too personal?
It's very personal, and it's something that I have set to do a few years back.
That's very good. And what do you think about interfaith? Should the different religions speak to each other, and if, why?
Well, I don't think that different religions should speak to each other. I think that everybody has the right to believe in whatever they want to believe, and no religion, political party, or anything else should be imposed on any given individual. I think every individual needs to believe whatever they want to believe, and the wars need to stop over religion because they're only destroying each other and the world, which is what we are inheriting to our future generations.
Hopefully, if there's something left.
If there's something left, exactly. I'm looking at the rivers here. They're extremely polluted. I'm looking at the wildlife. There's no wildlife. I'm looking at the insect life. There's no insects. There's no hardly any life. There's very little birds because there's no insects to eat. So something has happened here. I've driven all over Europe and I don't get any bugs in my windshield in my car. When I drive through Mexico or through the States, and I come home, my car is a mess of insects. So when you don't have life, this kind of life, which is vital, this is a problem. I met a very nice person, this man that he's from Spain. He tells me that he has to pollinate all of his crops himself because there's no bees in his area. So I think everybody knows that if bees become extinct, that will be the end of the world, right? So I think that they really need to look at why there's no insects, why there's no wildlife. Everything seems to be extinct. I hike in the United States every morning. I see bundles of bees, flowers, deer. Every morning I see deer. Sometimes the bear come down and get in my swimming pool in my backyard. And I have to call the Humane Society to come and evacuate the bear and put it back in the mountains. I see coyotes. I see bobcat. I see mountain lions. I see tarantulas. I see tarantula hawk. I see huge lizards, all kinds of lizards. And I don't see anything here. And to me, that's very concerning. It's beautiful.
It is.
And I'm very sad regarding the towns that are dying out. One of the things we do in Mexico, it's our younger generations don't leave their town. The government actually is very involved in promoting their younger generation to stay in the town. They give like a certification to the town. They have to meet certain requirements to become a Pueblo Mágico, which is a magic town. And they have all kinds of activities. There's established government, there's established everything in place. So they create jobs and they create different activities for the younger to be inclined to stay. And the family pool is very strong. So usually younger generations stay in their towns and their towns only get better. They don't get abandoned. That's concerning to me as well.
So let me ask you, what do you think a human is, or what? Who are you really? What are you? It's a mystery a little bit. What is the human being? What are we?
The human being? I'm not sure I'm understanding your question, but what are we as an individual? Or what are we as a race?
Are you an animal? Are you a spirit? Do you have a soul? Something like this?
Well, scientifically, we are the pyramid. We are at the top of the kingdom, Animalia, right? Scientifically, yes. Because the difference is that we are rational, we can think, and in spite of thinking, we destroy each other. So, we are partly animals because we have the same functions, basically. We thrive, and we live, and we die. But we have intelligence, right? And with intelligence, we should be able to make a better life for everyone. However, money seems to play a big factor in a lot of people, not in bettering, helping to better the ones that are not as fortunate. But I think we have all this energy and we are thinking individuals. We have our time in life. We have a mission. So if you look at it from perspective, a human perspective, I think that we are here to make a better place and to protect this beautiful earth. If you look at it as a mother, you look at it, you have your children and you want to nourish them, take care of them, and make productive citizens. But we are here temporarily. I mean, we're gonna die. So the time that we have here should be the best time that we have. Because once you close your eyes, you're gonna close them forever.
What happens? What happens when we die? What's happened?
Something's gotta happen. I believe that there is something else. We just don't know. So you know that the soul is supposed to have a weight, right? So when the soul leaves your body, it's believed that it has a weight.
28 grams.
Okay. Okay, you know. So where does it go? It goes somewhere.
So the soul does not die.
I don't believe it dies.
Was was it ever born?
Well, I don't know if you believe in reincarnation, but
How about you?
I thought about it. I mean, I have had some real life experiences that are very intense and that I can't explain to myself. There is at least 4 very powerful things that have happened in my life, in my conscious life, that have no explanation, and I don't know how they happen, but I believe them to be true. So that leads me to believe that there is something else, that there is something very powerful after we die.
And can you share one of these experiences? Do you have proof?
It's a little complicated, okay?
Okay.
Okay, I had an aunt that died in her sleep, my mother's sister, whom I love very much. I was very connected to her. And her room was pastel green. And I was the one that found her. I was there when her body was removed. I was there when she died.
You were there when Lisa died.
I wasn't there physically.
No, okay.
But so there was some conflict. My daughter and I had an argument the night before because both her and Lisa were supposed to babysit a child, and neither of them showed up. But nobody knew where Lisa was. I seen her on Thursday. She went to the beauty shop. She got her hair done. It was beautiful. And my other stepdaughter called me asking me if I knew where Lisa was. And I said no. So my husband said, it's okay. She's probably with her friends. And I said, no, we have to go to her apartment and find her. But the night before, my daughter and I had an argument. So that morning before my stepdaughter, the second stepdaughter, called me to ask me for Lisa, I had a very terrible experience when I was asleep. And I'll tell you the experience. But I got up and I went to my daughter crying, and I hugged her and I told her, I don't ever want us to have an argument, because I just relived when Auntie Fina died, my aunt that died in her sleep. I said, I don't know how, but my spirit left my body and I saw it speeding super fast, and then suddenly there was a flash and I was in her room and I saw her dead in her bed. And I don't want something to happen and we are in a fight. So that morning I told my daughter I had this experience. And the room, I didn't catch it, but the room wasn't green. The room was white. But I immediately associated it with my auntie's death. So soon after that, I get the phone call from my other stepdaughter. And she told me Lisa was missing. Now, Lisa had epilepsy, and she had very difficult time keeping up with her medical regime. So her dilantin levels, this is the medication that controls the seizures, were mostly zero in her blood. So my husband and I and my daughter, my oldest daughter, went to Lisa's apartment, and her car was there, and the police were there. But they said nobody answers the door. So I said, you need to break the door because Lisa is in the room. So he broke the door. It was a policeman, then me, and then my husband. And then when he broke the door, the first thing I saw was the medication on the table. And the next thing I smelled Lisa being dead for a couple of days. And when I went in the room, I saw the room was white. And in my sleep, I was flying around a fan that was circulating, and the person was face down with her hands like that, and her beautiful hair recently done. And then I knew that I had been there when she was dying, and I couldn't wake her up because I was trying to wake her up. I was yelling, trying to scream for Lisa, and I couldn't scream. And she was dead. So it wasn't my aunt, but it was Lisa. So it was like an outer body experience because I actually saw my body, my spirit leave my body, and my body was there, and I was just circling in the room, and then suddenly I appeared in the other room. I don't know if you believe me, but I swear in my mother's grave that that's what happened. So I believe that there is something else.
Well, now we know. You are not your body.
Well,
To have a good life, what should we do?
well, the way I live life, I've always been a happy person, and I try to stay a happy person. Don't sweat the small stuff. And I have had a hard life because my husband died many years ago. I raised 4 kids on my own. I sent them to university. I worked 7 days a week. I gave it all I had to make sure that those kids were going to be okay, and they were going to turn out productive citizens and economically self-sufficient, a good plan in life. And they're all good people, fortunately. So I have accomplished all of those goals as a mother. So now what I do is enjoy every moment of my life as if it was the last day I was going to be in this earth. I cherish nature. I protect nature. So do what you like to do, because this is what you're gonna do for the rest of your life. What I told my kids, when you choose your profession, choose wisely, because this is what you're gonna do for the rest of your life until you're able to retire. So I think I've given them pretty good advice. But now in my life, I choose to be happy. I'm not a materialistic person. I have worked hard for what I have. I'm financially sound. And now I can enjoy my hobbies, photography, woodworking, my artwork, my dog, my family. So family is first. And if your mind is okay, your body is okay. So in order to be okay with everybody else,
You have to be okay with yourself. That's it?